What is up, Ham Radio? Kilo Echo 8, Papa Zulu November, the Ham Radio Adventure Guy. Thanks for stopping by. Your one stop for everything Adventure Radio. It is Hump Day. That means it's time for the Hump Day Happy Hour. Got a great show tonight. We got, more POTA families in the house. It's going to be a good time. But before we get it started, we're going to give a shout out to the Patreons, because if it wasn't for them, guess what? I'd probably only done like one park today instead of 4. So these guys are awesome. They help me out so very, very much. I mean, you just don't even want to know what some of these guys will do. So
they help you put gas in other people's cars.
They help me put gas in other people's cars. Also, thanks to the YouTube members, the POTA Rover and the POTA and the POTA Activator still a little slack, even though I added that new benefit for them. So you guys may want to check that out if that's what you want to do. But Patreon's still where it's at. But and then once again, we're back to the Adventure Club with more moving around. Thanks to Kent and India Charlie Papa for their off-stream donations. And India Charlie Papa moves all the way up into the second space with his. So and then the other big mover was James Jenner from last week. So a little bit of moving around and shaking and baking. Dan sitting there in nice spot. He's making Terry feel comfortable, I think, is what Dan is doing.
That's what you do. You make your prey feel comfortable, and then you.
It's kind of like me at the beginning of the year, you know. I go out and I POTA quite a bit, but I let some of the other people just like think they got a chance, you know. They get out there and they're like, "Oh, we're ahead of James. We're ahead of James." And I'm like, you sprinters, it's a marathon. Thank you very much for the super chat, Chris. That's right. 20 new Georgia parks today. That's pretty awesome.
And the pileups have been rowdy.
You know, that's pretty cool. I would be happy for 5 already been added, but taken from me. West Virginia parks added today, but that's a different story, I guess. Well, anyway, what's going on, guys?
Howdy.
Doing good.
Well, you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Peter, KD9 UVX, up here in southern Wisconsin. Just loving ham radio. Got introduced to POTA, and it's been a nonstop rush ever since. So that's about it.
Yeah, I'm Cameron, KD9 VGV, and yeah, I love POTA so much and ham radio. It's really fun.
Good deal. I seen a picture of you. I think it was on the way to football practice or to school or something,
yeah.
hunting POTA from the car. So see, I don't know why you're not obsessed with hunting me like the rest of them, because that's how they do. They'll hunt me from anywhere. It never ceases to amaze me. I got one guy that runs up steps in a parking building. You know, a lot of people hunt me from work. It's funny stuff. Hey, thank you very much, Charlie Goff Charlie, for the donation. I appreciate it.
You're not saying somebody would be driving down the interstate at like 80 miles an hour running CW or anything, right?
Nah, I mean, I wouldn't have never seen a video like that.
Not me.
You know, you posted that video and I was like, I wonder how many laws this breaks. You know, I don't. It shouldn't break any laws.
No,
because, you know, it's not it's not an electronic device.
I am a professional knee driver.
Oh, funny stuff. All right, guys. So we'll start with the basic questions that I asked everybody. First off, let's tell everybody what got you into ham radio.
Well, it was kind of an accident, but not really at the same time. It's a squirrely answer, but I always was interested in ham radio. Wanted to get my license, and then for about a year, that's about as far as it got. I was at work, and a coworker of mine handed me a CB radio, like pretty old one, didn't work very well. Put it in my truck, and for about 2 weeks, I mean, I was putzing with the buttons. I didn't really know what anything did, and nobody was getting back to me. And then one day I was pulling in from the grocery store or something, and somebody was on and started talking to me. I talked to that guy for about 45 minutes and pretty much went straight to ham radio, asking him questions about it. He directed me to the ARRL, I went to the library, got the book, studied, and got my technicians all probably within about 3 weeks from that point. And then right away, I knew I needed to get into HF, like right away. So I immediately grabbed the next book, and in that process, Cameron studied for his technician. And when we tested together and both passed. And then shortly thereafter, he got his general as well. And then about the same time he got his general is when I started to do parks on the air. And yeah, he's been along for the ride the whole time.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much for the super chat there, Eddie. Yes, that's always a bad thing. First contact at a new park unless it gets retroactively activated. That happens a lot. That's like a lot. When they do release those 5 West Virginia parks, somebody's going to think they're going to be the first person to activate them, but we all know it's been done. But they actually were on the POTA page when they were activated. So Cameron, what your dad gets his license. What made you decide you wanted to get yours?
Well, beforehand, he gave me a little bit of third party, and I was doing net control with the local group, a third party, and I just thought it was really fun. He also let me do what was 13 Colonies event, so it was really fun looking up the band for maybe a Kilo 2 Bravo station or whatever, and contesting and that thing. I just found it really fun. So when he asked me to get my technician, I studied, and once we got it, I passed, and it's just been a blast ever since.
Nice. Yeah, the 13 Colonies is actually my favorite event to do. I don't even, I should do a lot more events, but I don't have time because I do this thing called POTA, and, hi, my name is James. I'm a POTA-aholic. It's kind of that thing, but I do always make time to hunt the 13 Colonies. That is my absolute favorite event. Now, most of the time I'm hunting them from a park, but that's what I'm going to do next year. I think I'm going to hunt all 13 from the park. Because I do. It seems the past 2 years, every year I get some from the house. So that might be it. I might get them all from the house or all from the park next year. That would be pretty cool.
Get a clean sweep from the park. That'd be nice.
So you guys just, how did you come across POTA?
Well, obviously YouTube videos. Saw one of your videos too, James, a while back. But a good ham friend of ours, Michael, from the Milwaukee area, that has a son roughly Cameron's age as well, and he's doing parks. And I, told him I was interested, and he said, "Well, hey, I'll come up to Shaw Marsh, which is right outside of Beaver Dam. I'll show you what's going on." And we went there. No sooner did we throw a wire up in a tree, it started to downpour. The kids were hopping in the car, and they were doing FT8, and Michael and I were kind of huddled behind the car. Got some voice contacts in there. You could kind of see the pileups build up and how fun that is, just handling that. And it was probably half an hour activation because of the rain, maybe 45 minutes or something like that. And after that, it was like, yeah, I gotta do this more. At the time, all I had was a 706 Mark II G and an Eagle 1 antenna. So I threw that all in the car and went back out to the park probably less than a week later, and that was my first solo activation. Our first activation. And ever since then, it's just been a rapid progression uphill to try to get out and do as many parks as you can. I work quite a bit, and he's got 6 other siblings, so it's awfully busy around here. But the little good thing about some of the parks, you can bring your kids and just open the car door and let them run. Throw the dog and let them run around too, and just activate and have fun doing it.
Are any of the?
I was going to say, a lot of times you'll probably hear them in the background when we're activating. There's dogs barking, kids screaming, but it just makes it that much more fun for me.
Are any of the other siblings licensed or?
Yeah, we're working on it.
Working on it. That'll be nice. You can just go out to the park and activate it. Yourselves if you wanted to.
We could.
Yeah.
Or get all 10 bands in one shot.
5 operators.
You know, and people don't think about that stuff all the time. You know, people's all the time. It's the excuse crew is what I call them. And you know, I can't go out and POTA because you know I've got a family and I've got this. You know, the last time I checked, families like to go to parks. You know, when I was growing up, my family all the time was going to the parks, and you know, especially kids. You know, I don't know a kid that you don't say, hey, you want to go play on the playground while dad activates the park or something, and they're all going to jump right on that. And people don't, you know, they don't understand that you know you can take your family out there and still spend time with them and still get an activation in.
Oh, for sure. We went to Mississippi to visit some family over the summer. I made my wife stop in every state on the way down, and then we took a different way back up to try to get more states and visit more family. That was it was interesting.
Yeah,
There was a lot of tens and done, but we made it happen. Except for Missouri, the mosquitoes were too big. We had to run away.
It was Arkansas.
Arkansas.
We only got 3 contacts. And then
Your Arkansas mosquitoes are enormous. I'll tell you that, whoever's watching.
Have you ever noticed
pterodactyls?
You ever notice that how much POTA has changed your traveling style?
Oh, yeah.
It's quite funny because you know when I drive down to Florida, you know I could drive that in one day if I wanted to. It would be pretty easy. You know it would be a 14-hour drive is what it would be, but not a big deal to drive that. I've drove that many a times. Heck, I drive that when I rove, but it typically takes me 3 days to get to Florida because I want to stop in POTA, you know, and it is funny how that just changes people.
What did
You know,
Ray say? There are no straight lines in POTA.
That's right. Yeah, especially for Ray because he's got Carrie and their trips sort of do this.
Yeah, I think they try to spell their call signs on the map.
Oh. All right, Dan. I know you got a question that you're dying to ask.
Yeah,
Cameron,
man.
so
This is a question for Cameron, since I have noticed if nobody has worked Cameron before, one, I suggest that you add him in his ham alerts, him and his dad, and 2, just listen. If he has a good pileup running, just sit there and listen to him work it. It is phenomenal. And Cameron, what tips do you have for us as hunters to help you out running your pileup? What can we do better to help you?
All right. Well, I guess a few mistakes that people make are so usually you got to say your full call sign because sometimes people just say like their prefixes or suffixes.
Right.
And it does help a lot when you say in phonetics as well, but you don't want to stretch out the letters a lot because it makes me like waiting there for 10 seconds trying for you to finish it, especially when there's a few people. But obviously if there's a bigger pile up, you probably want to stretch it out a little more so it's all not clumped together. But if you know it's just a few people, but maybe try to make your stretch it out at least varied on how many people you think are working or how big the pile up is.
Those are excellent points. Excellent points. So listen to him because he knows what he's talking about with pileups, folks. He might be young, but he runs them like a boss for sure. They do a great job. What is y'all's main activating style? Y'all like to just do one park? You like to hop from park to park to park? Or?
Depends on how much time we have.
Right.
So you usually will do maybe sit down and do maybe 30 to 50. But sometimes if it's a new park, we'll just hit 10, maybe 15 if it's just new park and we got to do other stuff. And if we have a lot of time, we'll go 100. I think most we got was like 150 in one day.
That's not bad at all.
We've never gotten a rove though. We've gotten 4 parks, I think 6 times.
You're one shy of the warthog.
Yeah, no, we've
Yeah.
been working on it. I promised Cameron that I won't do it unless he's in the car with me.
Yeah.
So there's no way. But yeah, there's been a lot of times where we had 4 and then we were going to the 5th and had to come home for whatever reason. But it'll happen. It'll happen soon.
You know, I'm gonna give you guys a tip that could make that a little easier for you guys. You know, you could go out and do parks the night before after the late shift kicks over. and then start back the next day. And it makes it a little easier to get those rows in sometimes like that.
Yeah,
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
we should try that during summer.
Or you can be really insane and just stay out there the whole 24 hours, like some idiots do. So, and I say idiots, and I mean that with sincereness, because I tell you, when you do that, you just it's brutal. Roving for 24 hours is brutal. I'm just going to say that.
James, how many is the most parks you've gotten in a day?
42.
42.
Yep. And that is the current POTA record.
Awesome.
Wow.
For a day. Yeah, so
it's impressive.
I could have did more that day is the bad thing. I had plenty of extra time. I just didn't let. I was only. It started on a stream one night, and I was only going to do. Well, I asked everybody. I said, "Do you want me to? Do you want me to roam this weekend and do a bunch of parks, or do you want me just to sit in one park and just to get a bunch of QSOs?" And everybody started saying roam. And then the Pearson boys like, "Yeah, you can get your line that you were talking about." I was like, "Yeah, I could go get my line." And somebody said, "Well, just go ahead and get 40." And I was like, "Nah." And then Steven throws a big $100 super chat and said, "Yeah, 40 sounds good." We lost him for a second.
Yeah, we got it back.
Yeah, we're back.
And Steven's like, 40 sounds great. And then if I'm not mistaken, somebody else, was it you, Dan?
Yep.
Dan throws a $100 super chat and said, "Yeah, 40 sounds great." So then they tried to say 50, and I was like, "Nope, y'all done threw your money. It's done." And so I scheduled 46 because I knew I'd be in the night, and I knew some of them probably wouldn't be open or and everything, because I can't do that in my home state. I have to go to different areas, and matter of fact, it was 1, 2, 3, 4 states that I covered to do that. And but I could have really set up 50 and done it fairly easy.
Yeah.
I had the extra time. But
if anybody has any questions for them, just throw them in the chat and we'll see what they got.
So are you? Because I do not recall working your pile up for sure. And Dan says it's great. I know the times that we've hunted. You hunted me in Florida when I was at a couple parks. But are you a speed operator? Are you a list guy? How do you run your pileups?
It depends. I mean, if it's really slow, like if it's 6 a.m. and I'm doing 20 meters and I get one guy every 10 minutes or something like that until the sun starts coming up, I'll talk to him and just hang out, because I'm not really missing anything. But if there's a ton of people and work together, it's bam, 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 5, 7, and then he'll like stand by, and then Cameron will do it, and then just go and try to get them all. I don't want to leave anybody hanging. That kind of sucks if somebody calls and then maybe you hear them 2 or 3 times, you never can quite get to them, and then they don't come back. Like, I want the contact too, just as much as they do.
So you have the same problem the rest of us have. When you say QRT, you have to reach and immediately turn the radio off.
Yeah.
You stay there all night.
Yeah, there's been times where I've had to apologize to people at home because, we're trying to say QRT, and I'll just put the mic like this and just wait 2 seconds or 3 seconds.
Right.
Like, well, there's the call waiting for, and answer them. But then you do that, and then there's 3 more people behind them. So
that's right. And another trick is never say last call, because you're going to be there another hour.
Right. Yeah, we've done that before too.
See, that's kind of my problem, because I have too big of a heart, and I'll take people, and I've done last call a couple of times, and it lasts a couple hours more because I keep saying last call, but I always try to work people, and it's funny because I can even remember a time where I finally get QRT, and I'm sitting there fixing a couple things in my log, and it's 2 minutes later, and I still haven't hit that power button, and somebody jumps on the radio and says, "QRT Papa Zulu November, you still here?" And I know the call, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still here. I got you in the log." And then as soon as I say 73, 5 more people was there. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well, I see a question from Michael, AA9RK. That's the ham that introduced me to Parks on the Air. So his question is, I don't know if anybody can read it, but what's our favorite park in Wisconsin? I love Shaw Hill because it's right outside of my house. So I got the most cues at that particular park. A lot of sky over there, so I never really have any issues. But Rib Mountain up by Wausau is in the center of the state, and that place is fantastic to operate from. Out of the state, we were in the bayou in Louisiana, operating next to an alligator, sitting on the shoreline. So that, us being from Wisconsin, we don't get to see that very often. So I think that was my favorite out-of-state one. I don't know about Cameron.
Yeah, probably the same. Shaw, and I like Horicon Marsh too. Horicon in Horicon, Wisconsin, and out of Wisconsin is probably that one. And then we call the alligator the RF alligator because we were about to turn off the activation, and then we saw the alligator and knew we got to pile up after that.
Chris said he's going to start his activation saying last calls. That might just work for you, buddy. You never know.
Mm-hmm. So is there something in POTA that you guys have not done yet that you're wanting to do?
I want to do slow scan POTA, slow scan TV Parks on the Air. I really want to do that.
We have it working. We just need to set it up for it. Well, I guess we do have it working. We just haven't brought it out
They
yet.
just haven't done it yet. So
Yeah,
I think that'd be pretty fun.
It is fun. I will tell you to go ahead and prepare for some time because I got on the kick on that for a while. And matter of fact, it was not this past summer, but the summer before, I believe. And every night after my last activation of the night, I would do SSTV. And I'd literally sit there for another hour and something, getting like 10 contacts maybe. It's really slow, but it is a lot of fun. But what we would do is we'd all meet up in Discord afterwards, and we just sit there and chat while we were sending it. And I'm in the park, and we're sitting there chatting, and everybody's sharing pictures in the Discord. So it made it extra fun. So that can definitely be fun.
Y'all strictly sideband, or you do any CW?
I'm learning CW. I usually do activations when I have people next to me that know CW. So if I ever mess up, then they're there to help me.
It's a very good time to learn it because I wish I learned it when I was.
Yeah, if I would.
Yeah,
if
when I was as young
you,
as you. Yeah.
If I was you, I would not wait on learning CW because all the youths, when they start, they learn it really quick. And, when you start learning it when you're older, it's a lot harder to learn that way. So I would definitely go ahead and start learning it now if I was you.
Yeah, for me, I can send. For my dad, he can receive better than me. So when I'm at parks, the first CW one I did was with CW Get or something. So I'm sending it with the computer. And then my second one, I was with somebody who could do, 40 words per minute Morse code on a little paddle. So I brought my straight key and we did a little POTA there. I think I got 15 CW contacts.
Eddie, our brisket man who cooks the best brisket this side of the Mississippi, wants to know, what is your current POTA setup when you're activating? Like antenna, radio, tuners, batteries?
All right, so we use our Yaesu FT891, the best POTA radio.
Absolutely.
And we have 2 cars, and we put an ATS antenna built for the Yaesu FT891 on the back of our truck. With all the flaws on it, like sometimes the SWR gets 2-to-1 and then 2.5, so we gotta kind of tune it at the same time. But other than that, and it only does on certain bands, but other than that, it's a very good antenna. We've gotten DX lately with how good the bands are. I wasn't at activation, but my dad was, and I think he got Japan and Australia. I got Australia on 10 meters, and just that antenna has been overall well, especially when there's a lot of sky. But other than the flaws, I think it's a very good antenna for POTA. And for power, we use batteries. Just what are the batteries called?
Lead acid.
Yeah, lead acid. And you know more about the batteries, so I'll let you go.
Yeah, so the ATAS antenna is absolutely fantastic. I love it. The one we have was given to us for free, and for some reason it doesn't want to tune 40, so I feel really crippled right now. If we have time, if I have more than an hour, I know I'm gonna be sitting there, I'll just bring out the Eagle One. I do not have a trailer hitch for it, so it's on a tripod, and then running radials out, and it works great. I love the Eagle One. If I got the time, that's the way to go, because you can pretty much do whatever you want with it.
That's my go-to activation antenna. The Eagle One is a phenomenal antenna.
Yeah, it's absolutely great. That was my first HF antenna. Had it on a second-story balcony for 9 months, a year.
So
that's all we used.
I'm going to send you a link that's going to make you a totally different activator, because I found a really, really cheap drive-on mount, and you can throw your Eagle One in that thing, and it doesn't matter if you have a hitch or not, and use that thing. And it's a minute and a half to set up that way. Where I understand the tripod takes a lot longer, but it's changed the way I activate now, because my car has been down for a while, and I've got a hitch mount, and it's not a problem for me. But there for the longest time, I was looking for rides, and I'm asking you for a ride to take me to a park, and I'm like, oh, do you have a hitch mount? But I've got a dirt cheap drive-on mount. Matter of fact, I've shared it with a couple people. And by the way, thanks Eddie and Chris for these super chats. And yeah, the ATOS is definitely a great antenna, but
I love mine. I absolutely love it.
But yeah, I'll send you the link to that drive-on. It's like $30, I think, is what it is.
Nice.
Yeah. The more of the Eagle One, when we usually, like you said, we bring it on an hour-long activations. So, especially when it's in like foresty area, you have to take the radios on, and he gives them to me, and I have to like dodge certain trees and try to put it under this stump, put it over this log, and when you pick it up, you gotta like find where you put it over the leaves and stuff.
Yeah.
We went camping. Was it end of summer, and I think I worked you, Dan, 6 times. Mm-hmm. Morning, night, and yeah, that activation was pretty good. We were in the Wisconsin Dells over by Madison area.
So yeah. When we were talking about, I did the 42 Park Rove, I actually used an Eagle One for that Rove, and I had the hitch mount, of course, but I would have my antenna up and be on the air in about a minute and a half.
Oh, not bad.
And there wasn't a single activation that was over 2 minutes long. I had my contacts and out. So, but if I would have had an ATOS for that Rove, I could have got rid of that minute and a half for 42 parks and had extra time.
Yeah, so we were all sitting there waiting on frequency like flies on honey.
Oh yeah, I know you were waiting for the drive time. You wasn't waiting for me to throw up Eagle One.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Edward says Cameron's one of our, I guess he's somehow affiliated, more active youth members, and he's impressed by both father and son. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that's the yacht group youth amateur communications team, I think.
Yeah, Ed's fantastic resource to have, and try to help that group out as much as possible.
Excellent.
I'd suggest anybody who's watching, if you have children that are even slightly interested in ham radio, look up Yacht, and you won't regret it one bit. It's super helpful.
So do you do any of the youth camps, the Yoda camps or anything?
No. I think I'm a little young for that. I think it's 13. You can start doing it, or I'm not sure. We just haven't got to it yet.
I know the Pearson boys went several times, and they really enjoyed it. I know several other kids that enjoyed it quite a bit. So do you guys have any ham radio likes besides POTA?
Satellites are fun. Satellites are pretty fun.
Everybody's getting into satellites except me.
You should.
I mean, what's going on around here?
It's fantastic. It's a rush. I mean, the first time we made it come together, it was we're high-fiving, hugging each other like, wow, this is awesome. And, you know, like I said, it's a rush, and it takes not that much effort to figure it out and get going, but it takes a while to master it.
What's your satellite setup? I'm curious because I'm actually getting into satellites. I've yet to even try to make a contact yet, but I've been putting my gear together.
We have a Wushan HT that's full duplex 10 watt, and a duplexer on an Arrow antenna, and then a couple of apps on our phone to figure out when satellites are coming by.
Do you remember which Wushan you have?
Yeah, UV. Well, it's right here. That one. Showing up.
KGUV9D makes.
Yeah, there you go. That guy. And it works great. We've used it for all sorts of stuff, and I've made some pretty long distance contacts on that thing for being an HT.
Okay, because that's actually what radio I got was a Wushan. I do not remember the model number. I was trying to look and see if I had the box flag here, but I don't see it.
But yeah, I mean, there's tons of other options out there, and we're only doing VHF, UHF satellites, but that's pretty fun. But over the last year and a half here, I think we've tried a little bit of a lot of things. A lot of different digital modes. I mean, at night I'll sit here doing FT8 when everybody's sleeping and doesn't want me bellowing into the radio. But
so is your goal to do POTA satellites? Make contacts with the satellite while I'm doing POTA?
It's not without reason, for sure. If the timing works out, you know, it's not that much effort to throw that in the car and make sure you have it.
Well, we've done that. We've tried it 3 times during field day, and every single time it didn't work out. Twice during field day, once during winter field day.
Well, field day is a
massive
amount of people out there anyway, so it's hard to get through. But
I think it was 3 a.m. in the morning.
I'm going to come back to this in a second, but Elizabeth wants to know if you like hunting or activating more.
I like activating.
Yeah, it's really fun going up and back forth through the band and hearing news stations. But I think, yeah, activating is really fun, especially when you got a big pile up and you're like, who do I call next?
Truth be told, it might shock everybody. I like activating more than hunting too. I just don't have the time to activate that I do to hunt.
Sure.
No, it doesn't shock me at all.
Yeah.
I mean, activating is definitely, if you do it, you're hooked, you know. I would like to activate sometime like a normal person.
What is that?
And see if it's as fun as hunting, but I can't remember back when I first started what it was like.
Well, if you're going to activate as a normal person, you're going to have to like do third party with somebody else's call sign.
Right.
That's not going to work for you.
You know, it's just hilarious because I can go out and take another operator and like, hey, let's do a separate activation, and they can spot and do an activation, and then me immediately get on a different frequency after they're done and spot and do triple the contacts they do, and they're looking at me like, how did the bands change that much? And I'm like, the bands didn't change that much. Not in that time.
Yeah, we used to go back and forth, but it was difficult because maybe we had to go home a little early. So we wanted an even time until we like, wait, we can just do 2 operators. So we've been doing that ever since.
Yeah, there was some arguments at first. Because like Cameron, we have, say, an hour. I'm like, you get a half an hour, and then I get a half an hour. And then 55 minutes later, he's still working on his pileups. And I'm like, okay, so from here on out, we'll do some two-party activations here.
Well, I do it like that sometimes because I teach a lot of people how to do POTA, and then they're not at a certain point. They need to step up and run everything themselves so they can get on their own, you know, and get out there and do it by themselves. Because you're not going to always have me. And then again, a lot of times I have to take over the logging for them if I'm training them the logging because my pileups get so drastic and all of a sudden I see they're getting way behind, and I have to jerk the laptop over and do a bunch of mumbo jumbo on there, and it gets rough on them. So sometimes I was like, all right, you do an activation by yourself, and then I'll finish. And it works out better because they need to learn to do it themselves too. But yeah, where you guys are father and son, I agree. I would just go two people. It's a lot more simple.
Yeah. Usually I have the laptop and then I type it in. He looks over. Who did I choose? And then I'll call them.
Yeah, it works out. We use hammers most of the time for logging. Seems to work out the best for parks on the air.
Oh, speaking of hammers, I read the other day. This is a good thing, actually. Remember me? I was complaining one of the bugs in hammers is when you go to correct a call sign, your cursor jumps to the end of the line.
Terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
There's an easy way to fix it. Just turn on your caps lock, and the problem goes away.
Really?
Go figure.
All right.
Right.
Thanks,
So I learned that the other day. So I brought up my hammers, and I turned on my caps lock, and it worked fine. I'm like, I don't understand, but it works. All right, whatever.
Okay, so if you would be logging correctly to start with, logging is done with the cap locks on.
Actually, the logging program should force everything into all caps. You shouldn't have to have your caps lock on.
Well, it won't. Most of them won't do the names. I don't think it. I think it's the names.
Yeah, something like that. But no, all right. So yeah, I'll go ahead and say it again. If anybody uses hammers, just turn your caps lock on, and your cursor will stop jumping around. That doesn't fix the park bad info where it won't save the record problem, but fixes 90% of the problems. The more you know.
Yeah, that's a good one to know.
Yeah. Because that bug plagued me forever. Every activation that got me. And I forget even where I read it now. And I wish I knew who I read it because I'd give them credit because I didn't come up with it. Somebody else said it. So you turn the caps lock on and it fixes it. And the first thing I said was, "What? No way."
Yeah, Hammers it's a great program. There is a few flaws. Like sometimes I don't know why this happens, but when you tap enter to go to the next contact, it just won't work. And you tap enter, it won't work. You tap the confirm log, it won't work. So you're like, hang on guys, 1 second, and then you have to completely clear it. Remember the call sign in your head, put it down again, and then put down the same frequency and signal points.
99% of the time when that happens to me, what happened is you accidentally put something in their park field.
No.
And if you put anything in that field, there has to be something in that field when you save the record. So if you start typing and then erase it, it won't let you save the record. So just put something in that field and let you save it, then go back after and
fix it.
Yeah, any questions, put them in the chat, guys. A couple of to-be up-and-coming monsters at POTA sitting here.
I did join your Discord about a week ago.
Well, that's actually a smart thing to do if you're a POTA person. Because
it's great. It's great. There's a lot of people in there that I've talked to several times.
I say it on almost every stream. My Discord is the most active place for POTA. Period. It's more active than any other spot. Now, if you're just wanting the people fussing about everything, that would be the POTA Facebook page. But for actual questions. And if you want to ask a question without somebody giving you a smart aleck answer or something, you would probably head over to my Discord because all of the top activators, the top hunters, they're all right there in that Discord. There's secret activations that happen that do not get spotted on POTA that are spotted right there. And it's a big benefit. It costs you absolutely nothing. You just join it and then you're done.
If you ever want to go for your warthog or a rhino or any higher for your roving,
yeah, if
you want to get in and out of a park real fast, Don't
Just
spot on POTA.
don't spot on POTA. Just spot in my Discord.
Spot in the
And-
Discord. You'll get your 10 or 12 or however many you consider to be a good activation. I think it's 12, to be honest with you.
Actually,
And
just,
then go.
what you do is you spot and then put at POTA spots.
Yeah.
And then, like, the people who don't even have their notifications turned on, most of them will have the at POTA spots turned on, and you can get in and out of parks. My 42 park rove, I never spotted on POTA, not one time.
Well,
So, it was all done through Discord. So it's an easy way to rove, and like a lot of the bigger rovers, that's what they'll do. They'll just spot in Discord.
It's a good question. The age-old question: how can you get started in POTA? First, go to POTA.app and make an account. That would be your first step there. Now, John, what do you want to get started with? Do you want to get started activating or hunting or a little bit of both? Or give us a little bit more to go on here. I'd be more than happy to help you out.
I'll just, you know what? Let's just share it around the room here. How did you guys when you started? What was your process?
well, like I said, Michael AA9ARK showed us
A9RK.
AA9RK showed us, what it is basically and how he was doing it. And I love being outside, so this is right up my alley. And also, I wanted to be able to take my whole ham radio setup off grid. That was kind of very important. One of the main reasons why I got into ham radio just in general. So this fits both needs. And then Michael showed us that. The next thing we did was figure out how to get everything out of the ham shack and into the car. And that was, like I said, the 706 Mark II-G and the Eagle One and a tuner and a battery. And that was it. I mean, we went back out to the same exact same parking lot and everything. And we're just rocking and rolling from there.
All right, Dan, how did you get started in POTA?
I got started by accident. So I was just a technician at the time, and I was tooling around the small little chunk of 10 meters that you have, and somebody was on there hollering CQ POTA. I didn't know what the heck POTA was. I was like, what is this? And I didn't think much about it. And I was listening on 20 and 40 meters, even though I couldn't transmit on those bands at the time. And I heard a whole bunch of this CQ POTA nonsense. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? This is when I first got back into ham radio during COVID. I've been licensed since 95 and basically just went off grid and didn't do anything with ham radio until COVID hit again, right? And so I started looking into it and I signed up on POTA, and that's all she wrote. And it's just been a ball. What I love about POTA is I used to like contesting back in the late 90s a lot. I was really big into contesting, and then I kind of got tired of contesting because it's kind of the same stuff over and over and over again. And now with POTA, I can compete against myself, which is really good. So I set my own goals for, say, the week, the month, the year, and I'll try to reach them, and you don't have to compete against anybody else but you. And that's what I like about it.
All right. For myself, also an accident. I got my technician license to honor my dad after he'd passed, because he always wanted me to be a ham. And one night, I had no intention of going any higher. And one night I was bored, and I came in this very room right here that I'm in, and which used to be his ham shack, but I had transformed it into a gun cleaning shed. That's that's where I cleaned all my guns and stuff. And I was bored, and I took all the gun stuff off the desk here, and I put his radio back on it, and I hooked his antenna in, and I was just scrolling through. I just wanted to listen, just see what was on there. And I came across a station with this huge pileup. What I thought was huge at that time. And I was like, what is this stuff? And they're calling CQ POTA. So I go and I got on YouTube and I start looking it up and watching POTA videos. And I was like, so I can go outdoors, which is what I do anyway. What I love to do, go outdoors, and I can do radio outdoors. This is for me. So I study and take my general, and that's it. But as far as his question, I'm thinking he's meaning more of a technical idea about it. So you would go to the Parks on the Air webpage, make an account, and then you would just go to the spotting page and start hunting is what I would say to do first, because that's going to teach you how the activators do things. If you're hunting them, you're listening to them, or hopefully you're listening to them and not being a lid. And you just see how things are done, and then you decide whether or not do I want to sit at home and hunt these people, or do I want to go out in the field and be an activator and have people hunt me. And you just make that decision, and that's all there is to it. All the information's on the POTA webpage. Any questions, you can join my Discord and ask questions, and people will send you in the right way. And if there's something you can't find on YouTube to learn how to do, and it's POTA related, send me an email, and I will make a video about it for you.
Yeah.
And I've done that for many people. Sometimes I get bored because I do these educational videos that people ask me for, and then I'm watching like, oh my goodness, this is so boring. But them seem to get more hits than any other video. Is the rudimentary, educational videos about something to do with POTA. So, I'm welcome to make any videos for you guys.
Yeah. Feel free to join the Discord and ask newbie questions. What's good about the Discord is there are a bunch of people that are very good at a lot of different stuff. So you're going to find an answer. I mean, it might not be the right answer, but you're going to find an answer. But and read the rules and all the documentation that POTA has on their website. Just get familiar with them, because 99% of the questions I see asked on the POTA Facebook group are covered in the rules. If you just read them.
Yeah, and then 99% of the people on there will tell you they were covered in the rules and it's done been asked. And stick to Discord, you'll be better off. I've never seen anybody fuss at somebody in Discord about asking a question. Right. And if I did, I would jump onto somebody really quick. So,
we all remember where we came from. I mean, not long ago, I was new at POTA.
The only dumb questions is the questions you don't ask. That's it. Yes, some people ask some questions that they could have found in the rules, but everybody didn't read the rules. We are still men. The women, all the women read the rules and they don't ask these dumb questions. But us men, we're like, oh, we don't need instruction. We know how to put this together. So, but sometimes everybody don't read the rules, and you got to remind them. Sometimes I see
the man rules for POTA: radio, microphone, talk.
Radio, microphone, talk. Yeah. So Cameron, what's your friends at school think about you being a radio guru?
I've done a few presentations, do presentations, something you're good at. I just think what they find cool about it is you can talk to this place in this random country that I've never heard of without internet. Because I don't know, maybe they have their apps that maybe Canada or something with the internet. So I've showed them a little bit, and they always ask me, can you talk to this place? And I'm like, I can't do it now. I'd have to find another station. But once I do, I think they find it pretty cool.
Good deal. And if you were going to try to tell somebody who don't think ham radio is cool, how it is cool, what would you tell them?
Well, at least, you're going to talk to somebody you've never known in a place you've never known either. Most of the time, and it's just really cool. You'll talk to people you don't know where they're from or what they do for a living and all that cool stuff that you can just ask her how the weather is over there.
We have a word for that around here, Cameron. We call that our hamley. And what it is, and there it might be people that I see, twice a year, if that, and I'm closer to them than I am my actual friends I see every day, outside of the house.
Absolutely. There's people that are in my phone that call me, 2, 3, sometimes some of them 5, 6 times a week. And, that I would have never known if I didn't do POTA. And they'll do absolutely anything for you. I got a radio kit that, you don't probably know, but I had brain surgery like 10 years ago, and I don't have very good dexterity in my hands, so I'm not good at doing stuff that have little tiny parts. And I bought a little radio kit, and I took it to a guy from Michigan, and I was like, "Here, man, you build small stuff all the time. Build this." And he tried, and he messed it up. But instead of just sending it back to me saying he messed it up, he went and found another guy that had all this thousands and $1,000s of equipment that to work with strictly small electronical stuff, and had that guy build it. And of course, that guy told him, said, "Don't ever bring me another one of these." But it's just cool because people they'll do absolutely anything for you, and it's just an awesome experience.
I've been experiencing that too. I got licensed in April 22, and I knew zero ham, nobody, not a soul. And I know so many people now, so many fantastic people, like you say, that are right there for you at any time. If you have any questions, need help, need to climb a tower, need to just name it, pick it. I mean, there's somebody that'll help you. And I've been trying to do that for everybody else too. Like if anybody needs help, like absolutely, I'll be there in a minute if I can to help you out. But it seems like that's just a running theme through hams. I mean, most hams. There are a couple unhappy ones out there, but at least most of the people that I deal with are absolutely fantastic. And I have a lot to thank to Ham Radio just because of that. And spending time with Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, you can't really beat that.
Yeah, his first contact on 2 meters was somebody local. He sends us like emails every week of like random contests that are going on, information of random radio stations you can listen to and all that stuff. So it's cool. Your first contact. He's still sending us emails about all this information, in case you need to know, and we can always hit him up for random information and random questions.
There's activators in like British Columbia and Saskatchewan that I work all the time that I probably will never meet face to face ever, but we can carry on a conversation like we've known each other for years. It's awesome. It's just the weirdest thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, for that matter, there's 3 guys up in Canada that started hunting me on the radio. They hunted me on the radio all the time. And the next thing I knew, I was going to Delaware with these 3 guys from Canada, and we was doing the whole state of Delaware for POTA. And now, they're wanting me to come to Canada and do a rove up there with them. And I would have never even met them, never knew them or anything. And now, they're all great friends of mine. And, it's just the camaraderie you build is just, it's amazing, and your friends at school, like, well, I can talk to these people on the internet. Yeah, you can, but you're not going to get that camaraderie talking to somebody on an internet.
Yeah.
You go
ahead.
I got a guy on Poland from CW today. I would not have even been interested in talking to that guy on Poland on the internet. You know what I'm saying? But when I got him on CW, I was like, yes, I just got Poland on CW.
Yeah, and the question that everybody asks is, what did you say to them? And then they kind of lose their interest when you're like, I say my call sign and then I say 5'9", and they're like, what?
What?
Yeah. The internet has made communication too easy. Like it's nothing to instant message somebody or even text message somebody, over in Poland. I mean, that line of communication is always open, right? But ham radio makes it an adventure and makes it fun because that path's not always there. And when it is there, you might only have a minute and a half to work that guy before he's gone.
Yep.
It's fun. It's fun.
You can also talk to countries that maybe they don't have access to cell phones or internet.
Yeah, that's right.
They can be on ham radio.
Absolutely. All right, we are coming up on the top of the hour. This is where we let you guys talk about what you got coming up, radio related or anything.
just more activations. I know that this weekend we'll get out. Isn't the Support Your Parks weekend this weekend, next weekend?
This weekend.
This
Yeah,
weekend
so we'll
coming
be
up.
out. Maybe we'll finally get that roving this weekend. Maybe good something to aim for. And just getting our digital stuff set up so we can do digital parks in the air too, because that's something that we haven't done yet. Then, I mean, it just seems like another tool in your tool belt.
Mm-hmm.
So I got 2 goals for you guys. One,
Let's hear it.
Cameron, I want to see these skills. I want you to break my late shift pileup one night so I can see what you got. And 2, I want each of you to earn one of these right here next year. And I say next year. And people think you're crazy. That's 1,000 contacts. But I'm going to tell you right now, 1,000 contacts with me, that's a piece of cake.
You got me what 92 in 4 days?
If somebody asked me the other day, I can't remember the number, but it was funny because the other people in Discord laughed, and I don't remember. I can give you a roundabout. Let me grab my phone here, and I'll give you the roundabout number. But he said, "Do you think I can hit 1,000 by the end of the year?" And I did it on my phone here. Let me get a guess here what it was. It was something like 420 contacts that he needs between now and December 31st. And I said, if you want to put the time in hunting, I'll get it for you. But you got to put the time in hunting me. And so far, the first 3 days since that's been, he's made the number that I need him to make that. I can do 450 times by the end of the year because it's nothing to get me 10 times at a park if I want to put the effort in. So
Sure.
that's like Terry got me at almost the end of my activation. I almost went through every band, and he's like, I just need 2 more. I was like, I know I can get you on one more. And then I was like, you know what? I can get you on AM. So I flipped it over and got him on AM too, and got him as another Eagle tonight. But it's just funny, So that's my challenge, you guys. Get your coin next year.
I will give her a shot.
And also, speaking of that, congratulations to the 2 Pearson boys who have now hit me 4,000 times. I don't know why their dad hasn't. I'm gonna have to check into that. That might be a fluke. He might have to. But
well, you didn't say congratulations to yourself here. What did you just get? 3,000 activations?
Yeah, that ain't nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, I did my 3,000th activation last night. So
well, I think how many do we have?
Yeah, I think you will beat us by times 30. I don't even have 100 yet.
Hey,
that is
absolutely,
it's absolutely blowing my mind every time I hear you operate, Cameron, that you don't have that many activations.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the years and years of ham radio knowledge, but it's like you're just a born natural. It's phenomenal.
Thank you.
So one of these days I'm going to be old, and I'm going to be like, you know what? It's time for me to hunt, and it's time for me just to head to the house and hunt. And there's going to be people like you and the Pearson boys and the kids that was on the stream the other night. Rachel and Andrew, and y'all's going to be battling out for the crown. And first off, I feel sorry for whichever one of you takes the crown off my head because it's heavy.
You're going to be trying to get their challenge coins for long.
But I'll be working for your challenge coins. So you guys are the future. So you keep it up, and I look forward to seeing what you become in ham radio. All right, Dan, what you got coming up?
Not a lot, man. Just looking forward to Support Your Parks this weekend. And a lot of new parks got released. The park ban in POTA has been lifted. Well, not the ban, excuse me. The moratorium has been lifted. So they are starting to add more parks now for the states. And they added a whole bunch in Georgia, a whole bunch in other states. And if you're hunting an Atno, still, as a hunter, be courteous. Don't be an a-hole. Some of those pileups have gotten really nasty. So,
Yeah.
Have
Is there like
have fun.
is there a place where you can check where the new parks are?
Not easily. The best thing to do is hopefully your mapping coordinator has posted somewhere, social media somewhere, that a list of parks they've added.
The way I like to do this, because I'm kind of a freak about new parks, is I know how many is in my state for one, and then I just go to the POTA page and I go to park list and I see if that numbers went up, and if it's went up, I go down that list and find out where they put a new park. That's how I like to do it. Yeah. But as far as hunting wise, I would say run the POTA extension and it'll tell you if it's a new park to you or whatever. But for me, I will be out activating tomorrow. Surprise, surprise. I will drop a video at 4:00 like I do every Thursday. It's going to be a video on you saving some money if you're smart. And other than that, I'm currently testing new merchandise.
Check out this cup here. That is awesome looking.
Try to get this in the picture here.
I like it.
Hopefully this thing pans out. And matter of fact, really cool thing about this cup is when it becomes available, it's also going to become available with extra stuff that you can purchase for it. And if
a lot of tickets.
And if you are in the King's Court in Patreon, the cool thing is you're going to get that extra bonus for free. So, everybody else will be buying the extra stuff if they want it, and the King's Court's going to get it for free. I always try to add benefits to people that help me out the most, and or that help me out in general. But of course, the ones that help me out the most is going to get the most stuff from me. But anyway, thank you guys for your donations, and we'll catch everybody in the Patreon after chat tonight. And thanks a lot, guys. 73. If you two just hang out here for a second.